and establish an equation that will tell us what exactly keeps people in, or the reverse of what makes people leave. If we crack this code, we will understand whether compensation is the key or any other factor, and for that matter, combination of many factors. You see, all researchers have gone into understanding what people look for when they join a company and why people continue to stay in a company. It is important to pay our attention to this area. I have studied more than a dozen companies in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City which fall into SME category. Few of them are around 50 billion VND annual revenue, but many of them 500 billion VND annual revenue. What I notice when I meet staff of these companies is very clearly some common patterns and practices that happen in companies which have been able to retain talent, and also the practices which some of these companies are unconsciously, unintentionally, and sometimes with wrong understanding adopting, which are making people leave. So let us understand what are these practices that create the entire ecosystem of retention for people. The first thing that employees look for when they join a company is what is called a pride of identity, which means how proud I am going to feel if I join this company and work there, both to my family and friends and also as my own self-respect and self-esteem. And that's the reason why a well-known brands always end up attracting better talent. May not be able to retain talent, but are always able to attract better talent. And that's why we have to all understand that in some way we will have to continue to nurture what is called our employer brand identity, so that we'll be able to build a reasonable, respectful status of our company in the eyes of prospective candidates. It is not something you can do in one night, but this is something that you must begin to be able to build over the next few years. This is important key. The second thing that employees look for in a company is what is called the job meaning. When you take people in, there is a job that you give to people. People want to enjoy the job. They are not doing a menial task, unlike what used to happen 100 years ago. They are coming and working because they see a meaning in the job, a purpose of their life in some way gets manifested in what they're doing. And therefore, when we create a job content which is more purposeful to the organizational goals and which has an interest which aligns with the people interest, we see more and more people feeling excited to work on that job. That's the reason why many times leaders actually adopt the practice of job mobility. They make people move around in an organization to continue to make the job content for people more interesting and avoid fatigue or boredom. This is the second very important factor. The third important factor that make employees continue to work and be retained in a company is what is called management of career or progression or growth. You see, every human being has this inherent aspiration and ambition to grow and get better. You can grow and progress in life through better learning. You do that with a better role. You do that with more people in your team. You do that by having a new promotion, or you do that with a change of your title. There are many ways in which we get a feeling of progression or growth or movement. This is key. So those organizations which are able to fulfill a career of progression or growth hunger of people typically are in a better position to retain people. In fact, one of those 12 companies that I met showed me the very first thing in their HR system that they have built is a typical career progression path of people. They tell people on the day they join that welcome aboard on this journey to become a director in this company. And that's how you're going to become a director from executive position. Beautifully conceptualized and articulated career path. The fourth reason why employees love to work in a company is something to do with environment, culture. All of the employees of these 12 companies that I met and interviewed actually told me that they love to come and work because of the environment of this company. Now, they describe environment in a different fashion. In a smaller company, they describe it by saying we love the behavior of the top leader. He's very warm, he's very respectful, he cares for us, he's pushy, he puts a lot of pressure on us, but he does it in a very respectful way. He has very high integrity, we love coming and meeting him, he inspires us. A lot of things they told about a leader. That's also environment, that's also culture, because cultures are created by leaders. But in a bigger organization, they were talking less about the top leader, but they were talking a lot about the teamwork that they are able to do, the collaboration that they are able to do. They tell me, I love to come to work because people help me become more successful. Because one of my job is to help others to put in the best. This is beautiful culture that I notice in one company. And therefore, I consider this as the fourth very important reason. The fifth important reason why people love to work in a company is compensation, salary and compensation. No doubt that we must have our compensation which is respectable, which is reasonable and fair. Fair is more important than high compensation. If you give a compensation or salary to a newcomer, a new sales manager whom you appointed yesterday, higher than a person who was appointed internally, who worked with you for the last 5 years, this is being unfair. Make your compensation fair, commensurate to education, to qualification, to experience, to skills, to result orientation or performance, etc. But it has to be fair. The sixth reason why some people tell me is the reason which I don't consider as a very important reason is what is called a mystery, which could be sometimes a personal preference to work in a company which is close to my house, or in a city where my wife is working, or in fact sometimes where my boyfriend is working, or ease of school for my children. Those are not very significant factors. So now we must understand, if we really want to build an organization which can attract and keep people with us, we need to work on all these remaining 5 factors. Compensation is only one of them.